very tough loss to the OKC Thunder. The OKC Thunder has 2 wins for the whole season, and that's thanks to the Lakers. Of course, you know, if you see the jerseys in the back, I got the old jerseys of LeBron up. I got my new ones coming soon, hopefully. And we really missed you tonight, Bron. We need you, bro. We need you to get past the OKC Thunder, believe it or not. Whew. It's a lot to unpack in this game. So I'm going to just get right into it, Laker Nation. This loss was another bad one. Not as bad as the first, but just as equally bad. We were up by 19. At one point, we were clicking on all cylinders. I remember texting my pops saying, hey, looking good tonight. Looking things are going in the right direction. And sure enough, happened again. Although, it didn't happen in the third quarter. We actually showed poise in the third quarter. We actually put up a fight in the third quarter. But it all came crumbling and crashing down in the fourth. There's a lot of things you can blame of why we didn't win this game. The Westbrook turnover late. Russell Westbrook taking the last shot of the game when Carmelo just hit one. There's a lot that we can say. But if you know me, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Vogel, what the hell are you doing? I just don't understand. I do not understand Vogel. It's like he wanted us to lose again. I retweeted a tweet. Said Vogel is going to Vogel all season long. Said exactly right.
And now a word from our sponsors.
I put a large part of this loss on Vogel. Vogel and his lineups, and I was just about to criticize Vogel for having in Austin Reeves late in the fourth. And then Austin Reeves knocks down a humongous 3. Keeping us close. All of us made mistakes tonight. But let's start off with most of the good that we seen tonight. The good that we seen is AD came out hitting shot for shot. He started off the game 7 for 7. He looked like he took whatever Baisley did personal in that last game, and he was going to show why you don't do that. And I loved it. Oh, I loved it. AD came out shooting lights out. He got in the paint early, like how it should be every night. I don't know if Vogel has seen this or not. But you get a guy a few dunks and a few great lobs, layups, whatever it is, in the paint right there in the cup. It's easier for them to go out and start shooting because now they're confident. You got some points behind your belt, under your belt, and you start just knocking down shots. Exactly what AD did. Exactly what I've been saying all along. I've been preaching this since preseason. Go in the paint first. Get your buckets in the paint. Start off showing them how they can't guard you down there. Start off showing them your dominance down there. And that's exactly what he did. And then he started slowly coming out. Started knocking down some jump shots, some really tough shots. Oh, he was hitting tonight. Second quarter, another scare. I'm going to keep on the good, though. Another good that I seen is AD, think only fell down twice this game. Such an improvement. He only fell down twice this game. But the second quarter, AD gets hurt. And it looked like he was out. I mean, out. I looked at the replay and seen LeBron's face when he looked at AD, and it didn't look good. His face told it all. I said, oh, Lord, we're going to have to go at this without AD. He's going to be out for a while, and it still may be that way. I don't know what happened. It was either his finger or his thumb, but I knew something was broke. That's just how it looked. That's just what I expected. Something's broke the way he was holding it, and it was broke bad. But he came back in the game in the third quarter. Now, mind you, in the first quarter, we were running things. In the second quarter, early, we were running things. And then late in the second, I guess we started our third quarter woes early. They started closing the gap. We were up by 19 this game, and they closed the gap, hanging in there. What young teams do, they keep balling for a full 48. This was a blow. OKC is not going to make it to the playoffs unless this win motivates them to go on like a 20-game winning streak or something. We all know OKC is not going to the playoffs. So there's no pressure there. There's no worry. Although if we did play them in the playoffs, I know we'd beat them. See, the thing about the Lakers is we are so quick to get it to the guys who can get a bucket. Your ADs, your Brodies, your Carmelo Anthonys, your LeBrons. And then the others just take shots when they can, instead of moving the ball side to side and making sure that we get the best possible possession and the best possible scoring possession that we can. We leave it in the hands of the stars. And I understand that. Late in the game. When the game is on the line, yes, that is what you should do. You should not do that for the first three quarters and then expect for them to make it in the fourth. Because everybody on that team is capable of hitting a big shot. I mean, you've seen Reeves, right? We all seen Reeves. We seen Reeves hit a big shot late in the game. AD started off really strong. I said, oh yeah, maybe he can carry this team. Maybe he can lead this team. And then he got injured. And then he came back in the game, and I knew his injury affected him. It affected his passing. It affected his catching. It affected his jump shot. It affected his jump shot. It affected everything. And you could see it clear as day. Not only did it affect his jump shot, his catching and his passing, it affected him mentally. You could see it on the defensive end. It was on his mind. You could see it clear as day, like a sign on his forehead. It affected him. He was no longer that great on defense. He shied away on offense. He was dominating the first quarter. Dominating the second quarter. Until that injury. So although this was a disappointing loss, and a lot of Laker Nation is upset, disappointed, disgruntled. I'm going to tell you this, Laker Nation. Had AD not got hurt, we would not be feeling that way right now. Right? That's the only reason why they won this game. Is because AD was affected by his injury. Of course, you can't put that on AD. He was being aggressive, going for a loose ball. Could have happened to anybody. A lot of people saying that AD is too injury prone. We will never get anywhere because AD is too injury prone. And although that may be true, we got Russ now. And Russ, by himself, with the rest of the Lakers cast and Carmelo, should have been able to pull this game out. That's where the disappointment lies. The disappointment lies in we really didn't need AD. But of course we needed AD. But looking at roster for roster, we should have been able to handle this game, is what I'm saying. Then you got to look at the bigger picture. If it's not the players on the court, you got to look at the head. In the head, we have one person named Vogel who is terrible with rotations. Terrible with adjustments. Every once in a while, yes, he'll get an adjustment right. Every once in a while, he'll land on a great rotation. But the thing about Vogel is, he falls victim his own inabilities. He does not have the ability to move off course, to pivot. He sticks to the plan. And although sometimes that works, not all the time will it. And that is one of the biggest issues. Stay the course. Keep doing everything that you're supposed to do. And the game will turn out fine. Until SGA pulls up at half court and takes the wind out of Staples Center. Oh, there was no oxygen in there after that. After that shot, you know how much time he had? They were in the lead. You know how gutsy that is? When the game is on the line, you're not up by much. You have plenty of time. Your objective is to run down the clock. Let them beat you. Because OKC was up. But SGA didn't do that. No, he didn't do that. He pulls up at half court and knocks one down. Meaning he didn't care. Because he knew something that the Lakers didn't know. That he could hit it from there. And if you give him enough room, he's going to hit it. He was incredible tonight. So salty that I can't do a bro who dat on SGA. So AD was good. I loved AD's game. I'm not going to harp on AD this pod. I thought he looked incredible. I thought he did what he needed to do. Had it not been for the injury, we would have finished this game off strong. Hats off, salute you, AD. You played a great game, bro. Let's move to Bazemore and Bradley. So Bazemore and Bradley started tonight. And both of them I thought did a pretty decent job. Not too much. Not too little. They did a decent job. They did what they're supposed to do. I thought Bazley could have been more aggressive on offense. Of course, I don't want to put nothing out that I don't stand by. So I got to look at the box score. Because had this been had this been KCP, I would have been dogging him. So I can't make that same argument for KCP and not make it for Bazemore. Because Bazemore, you're starting now. So Bradley started at starting shooting guard and Bazemore started at small forward. And although he started at small forward, he still is a shooting guard. Kent Bazemore played 22 minutes and scored 2 points. I think it's time we switch it up. Kent Bazemore had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks. Kent Bazemore had 1 foul. He played 22 minutes. So I retract my previous statement. Bazemore, we need more from you, bro. If you're going to be starting shooting guard or small forward just because LeBron is out, you have got to do better than 2 points, bro. You have got to shoot the ball. Let's go to Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley played 31 minutes, had 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. The steal that he had was incredible. Avery Bradley had 4 personal fouls. That's effort. That's intensity. That's being aggressive on defense. Bazemore with 1 foul, not so much. I can't really say the same for Avery Bradley. Although you started at shooting guard, you're supposed to shoot. He had 9 points. And I would say something about his 9 points. But when you have a lot of ISO ballers in there, and they do nothing but feed the stars, what do you expect? They're not moving the ball side to side. Preston, what are you doing? Go lay down. They're not moving the ball side to side, so of course he's only going to have 9 points. Had this not been a team full of stars, you would have seen a lot more equal points across the board, I would say. Because they're not told to pass to this guy or that guy. Make sure this guy touches the ball every possession. So I can't really go in on Bradley or Bazemore that hard. But I do think it's about time we switch up Bazemore. Let me go back to the last game. I don't want to say that about Bazemore because his defense is great. But I just haven't seen much on the offensive end as far as him scoring. Now his defense is incredible. The last game he played 26 minutes, scored 7 points. Avery Bradley played 28 and scored 2 points. But they're amongst 3 stars. Kent Bazemore had 9 points on 27 minutes. We just need more, Bazemore. We need more. If we're not going to get more, then Malik Monk needs to come in. And I know what you're thinking. Monk had another game that he wasn't great. See what happens when you try and make a player something that he is not? It takes a long time. It makes that player look bad. I am not blaming Monk for any of this at all. Because if Monk was running point guard, and if Monk had more touches and more time, we'd be seeing a lot more out of Monk than we're seeing. I think he should start Monk when LeBron gets back. DeAndre Jordan got a technical, and rightfully so. It was a crazy call. He played 14 minutes at 1 point. Now I know what you're thinking. LeBron was out. He had to start him. He had to start DeAndre Jordan. But the way Dwight Howard has been playing defense, The way Dwight Howard has been balling once he goes in, I think you need to move DH to the starting center. And DeAndre needs to come off the bench. There's too many times that I see DJ just unaware of where his man goes. Now, he does make some good plays, but then all of the other plays are just terrible. Too big to be getting pushed around like that in there. That means he's either out of place or slow reacting or little to no effort. It's probably a lot more variables to it, but those are the main three. Instead of bringing your starters back in the third quarter, why don't you test another piece out in the third quarter to see if it works, to see if it changes the dynamic? Don't be a creature of habit, especially when we not closing out quarters or we're losing games like this. I'm not hitting the emergency button just yet. So I get it. I get why, maybe there shouldn't be any switches. So I get both arguments. That's debatable. It's very debatable. Anthony Davis played 38 minutes at 29 points. Most of those were in the first half. He had 18 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He didn't take that many jump shots tonight, but when he did, they were going in. He had 4 personal fouls. Russell Westbrook played 34 minutes. He had 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Brody was outstanding tonight. His 3-ball, his jump shot was working. He was knocking down shots. But you know what I'm going to say. They've been listening to my podcast. On the very last podcast, I said exactly what he did tonight, and thank God he did. The very last podcast, I said maybe he should go ahead with the bank shot first before he starts to think about putting up a 3-pointer. That's exactly what he did. And guess what? You guessed it. It worked. He shot a bank shot on his first shot, and every other shot after that pretty much went in. You build your confidence on the shots that you know you can make. The shots that you practice more. In every game, he has shot up a bank shot. In every game, he has made most of them. I think he's only missed 2 out of the ones he's taken. But he started off with the bank shot, and it helped his rhythm. He was in rhythm tonight. His 3-ball was falling, his jump shots was falling. I think he actually hit 2 bank shots this game. AD hit a bank shot. I thought it was a 3, but I guess they called it a 2 because they said he was 0 for 1 from the 3-point line, so it must have been a 2. I'd like to see that again because I think it was a 3. I'm thinking we got gypped out of a point. So the ball was moving. We were clicking on all cylinders. Everything looked great until AD got hurt. And everybody came out that third quarter looking defeated. They got back in the game. It was within 4 before the halftime. And they stayed close. We got a little separation. They closed the gap. We got a little separation. They closed the gap. So I get it. Vogel can't go in there and play. He can only make adjustments. He can only coach. So why do I blame Vogel so much? Why do I blame Vogel so much? Because he is the head. I blame Vogel because he doesn't make great adjustments. I blame Vogel because late in the third quarter, I believe, or the fourth, he had out Carmelo Anthony, Westbrook, and oh yeah, you guessed it, AD, all at the same time. Why would you do that? Why would you think that that was a great move when this game has been back and forth? When this game is starting to slip away? Why would you leave all of our scorers, the ones who take up 80% of the possessions on offense, and take them all out and sit them all at the same time? That's coaching. He made a mistake. But guess what, Laker Nation? That's not the first. And y'all know that too. Most of y'all do. That's not his first mistake. He does this all the time. That is coaching. He is looking for defense and forgets about offense. That is our Achilles heel. That is where we break down. Because he's so worried about defense, once the team gets momentum, you can't stop that. The only thing you can do to stop that is to keep scoring the basketball yourself. And how do you do that? By keeping your offensive threats in the game. At least one of them. What are you doing? This is a new NBA, bro. Yes. This is 2021. Walk into the new generation. Don't matter how much defense you put up. If we're not scoring the ball, then they are going to beat us. How do you think most of these teams win in the new NBA? By defense? By having the best defense? Of course that helps. I'm not saying to ditch the defense entirely and just don't guard anybody. But it's clear as day. Most of these teams win like the Warriors, like the Nets, by outscoring every single team that they're up against. Plus, they move the ball side to side. I would love to have another reason, besides LeBron not being in this game and Vogel just being a bad coach, to put it on the reason why we lost this game. But AD played well. Russell Westbrook played well. Avery Bradley, Bazemore, questionable, debatable. DeAndre Jordan, questionable, debatable. Carmelo Anthony played a good game. He had 21 points in 31 minutes, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Carmelo Anthony has been outstanding. Austin Reeves played 22 minutes. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. Rondo played 15 minutes at 0 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Malik Monk played 13 minutes at 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Wayne Ellington played 8 minutes. I forgot about Wayne Ellington. Why didn't you put him back in instead of having Reeves in for 22 minutes? It just blows my mind. But anyways, Wayne Ellington played 8 minutes, scored 3 points, had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Dwight Howard played 7, almost 8 minutes, scored 2 points. He had 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. Dwight Howard played almost 8 minutes of this game. And in those 8 minutes, he had 2 points. He had 4 rebounds. He had 2 steals and 1 block. Out of 14 minutes from DeAndre Jordan, he had 1 point, 3 rebounds, and zeros across the board. No blocks, no steals, no nothing. Dwight Howard is showing you, I belong in this spot. He showed it to you last game and the game before. And ever since he had that little spat with AD on the bench, he's been showing Vogel, I belong in this starting spot. It don't make no sense. Dwight Howard is the OG from the Lakers. He won a championship with you. That don't mean nothing to you? I'm just over talking about how bad of a coach he is. Realistically, I don't think he's a bad coach. So let me take that take back. But I don't know what you call it when I wouldn't consider him a good coach. Or definitely not a great coach. What do you consider that? Because the opposite of that is a bad coach. But I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he just should be the number 2. There it is. I figured it out. He should not be a head coach. He should be a number 2 coach. Because it's not like he's a bad coach. He's a good coach. He just shouldn't be the number 1 coach. Late in the game, we had a Westbrook turnover. When we really needed that possession, it was a dumb turnover. Westbrook had a lot. Let me go to the box score. Westbrook had a lot of turnovers this game. Ill-advised turnovers. Terrible turnovers. He reverted back to what he had been doing previously. Anthony Davis had 3 turnovers. Russell Westbrook only had 4. He only had 4. Seemed like a lot more than 4, so they must have put some of those turnovers on other players. But he definitely had more than 4 turnovers. Rondo had 3 turnovers. But those turnovers, of course, would have not happened had LeBron been handling the ball, which he would have been. So don't get too down, Laker Nation. Don't get too down. Because old Goat James, I sound like Shannon Sharp, old Goat James. Old Goat James is built for the long haul. He's built for the long road. And he's going to be there when we need him most. So this game, although, yes, it's disappointing. We want to keep winning. We want to keep that mentality and that motivation to keep us going to the next game and the next game and the next game. I hope they bring back this mentality that we'll never lose 2 in a row. But just to put this in perspective, OKC almost beat the Clippers last night. Or the night before. When did they play the Clippers? Was this their back-to-back? No, this wasn't a back-to-back for them. When did OKC last play? They played the Clippers. Clippers beat them 99-94. Clippers held them to 94 points. What did we give them? We gave them 107. They just love beating on the Lakers. God, I really wanted Baisley to pay for what he did. Couldn't do that tonight, though. I normally have funny segments, and I'm just not feeling in a joking mood. You just got to tip your hats off to OKC for playing a good game. I guess you got to tip your hats to them. Because there's really not much that I can base this loss on other than the fact that we lost. I mean, it's, we lost. But our players played good. They looked good. We were clicking on all cylinders. We looked like a team. At times, of course, our defense broke down. I do got some questions, though. I want to ask y'all about the Westbrook turnover and him taking the last shot. How y'all feel about that first? And then my second question would be, how do you feel about that possession where Melo gets into it with Dwight or Dort, whatever his name is? And then we have 3 people focus on one player and Dort gets a wide open dunk in the hole. Do you think Melo caused that? Do you think Melo was the cause of that possession? Why he got free? Because he created so much distraction that he distracted all of our players. I don't know. Sometimes you can get in your own way. And I think that's what happened tonight. I think Melo looked incredible. I just hate that he puts up this shot and then he doesn't get a chance to end it. You know, that's the sad part. It's because everybody that's a Lakers fan right now wanted Melo to shoot that ball. And we got Brody. And he had time. At least I think he did. Or a better play could have been drawn up. Or at least I think it could have. Do I put that on Vogel? Probably not. He probably said it needs to go to AD or Carmelo. But Brody, I mean, they just defended him well. I mean, what are you going to do? Brody couldn't get him the ball. Do you blame Brody for that? Do you blame Vogel for that? Kind of blame Vogel. Because a better play could have been drawn up to get Carmelo wide open or somebody wide open. I mean, there's plenty of plays where you can get a shooter wide open. Plenty of them. You know? It's just we don't like to run them because the only thing that Vogel can think about is defense, defense, defense. Listen, man, that's my time. Y'all been a beautiful crowd. I've been a beautiful host. Yeah. I'll catch y'all the next time. My name is Derek James. And I'm out this bit.